Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to have Hauke Feddersen, VP of Operations and Interim VP of Finance at PreciTaste on the show today. Hauke, welcome.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, great to have you. So let's kick this off. Tell us a little bit about your background, whether it's in SaaS or not. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Now, a bit of a different one. I think I was an old school SaaS before. I was in charge of the service for 54,000 coffee deployments, professional coffee deployments all over Europe by Europe's largest roaster, Chibo. They had a professional restaurant and office coffee business where you rented the machine and had the service contract with it, plus the coffee delivery. And I was in charge of the service aspect as well as the procurement of said equipment. And it is some form of a SaaS business because you got something that was far more expensive than you would be willing to pay for it on the first day. Coffee machines, professional ones, can go up towards to $20,000. And the second piece is it got better over time, meaning that the solution delivery did not stop the day that you received the machine. With the continuous service, etc., there was some sort of service brought in to make your piece better. And therefore, I see a lot of parallels to PreciTaste right now. We build vision AI solutions for the restaurant and the fast food industry, and those are being improved every week as well. With the SaaS fee, our customers buy those weekly deployments that make sure that our detection accuracy stays absolutely flawless and keeps on improving over the time of the project, and that additional features can be added at scale.
Okay, well, interesting. So that coffee background, right? Renting those machines, got to keep everyone caffeinated. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about PreciTaste and this AI for restaurants and food service. If you can, tell us a little bit more about that, a use case. How does that work exactly?
With pleasure. PreciTaste is a bit odd, a bit different from other emerging tech companies. First, we've been around for 10 years, and we've only raised capital for the first time this year. So we had our Series A beginning of January. And since 10 years, we've been solely focused on vision AI for the food industry. We started in grocery retail, managing that little kitchen that is not so little, actually, in the supermarkets that makes all the fresh snacks and the baked goods, utilizing vision AI. And from there, we moved on, and that's the time when I joined PreciTaste and when I moved over from Germany to the United States, here to New York. We managed the entire back of house in a professional QSR. QSR is quick service restaurant. The fast food industry, as some may call it, doesn't like to be called fast food because it's not the food that is fast, it's the service that is fast. And that comes from having inventory, fresh inventory, ready when the customer arrives and not a long time after they ordered it. So in the QSR sector, it's all about knowing what will happen next and having the right ingredients prepared. And that's why our system senses the demand. We can do that either by looking at the drive-through, counting the cars, looking at the customers that are about to order, or we can see patterns in inventory depletion. We just see the levels going down, and that tells us how the demand is. Then we look at the inventory side, the supply side. How many chicken nuggets are there? How many burger patties are there? How many French fries are there? Or how many of the beans are in the pan? And by knowing demand and supply, put that together, you have the perfect production planning any second of the day. You look at the screen and it tells you, what do I need now to service upcoming demand to keep the QSR industry fast and to keep it fresh?
Yeah, so that's interesting. Let's talk about that a little bit more. So say, it's lunch, there's a big rush, cars going through the drive-through, people walking into the restaurant. So is it in that moment real-time data analytics, as well as we'll talk the supply chain, but tell us more about hey, that rush for lunch, is it that type of real-time analytics?
Absolutely. We sense utilizing ordinary security cameras or 3D sensing in the restaurant. We sense the demand live, and we just know right before lunch is the most boring part of the day. That's usually the slowest sale, and then all of a sudden that rush kicks in, and you just see the demand going up to peak, and to have the inventory ready at this point so that the crew doesn't feel that they're running behind and can't service their customers fast enough. This, by the way, has real application. Everybody knows drive-through. If the drive-through is clogged, you just drive on to the next restaurant. So by helping the restaurants that employ our technology have the ingredients ready to make fresh food, when the customer orders it, they're able to, as they say in this industry, keep the wheels rolling and make sure that cars pass through the drive-through quickly and customers are satisfied, leading to more sales.
So if I'm making hamburgers in that restaurant, is it more proactive where it's just before lunch hour and your system is telling me, hey, you've got to start preparing inventory because we're expecting that lunch rush?
Exactly. So our system senses what should I have now? What is my target inventory? And then it senses, and by the way, we have solutions that go without sensing, that just from historic POS gauge the what should I have, what is my target inventory, the what to hold, what to have systems. And then there is the next level that has Vision AI integration that already knows I should have X, I only have Y. So the delta between those two variables is what I will ask the crew to prepare right now. And it has two huge advantages. One is if we're ramping up to peak, we catch that perfect moment to ramp up, to make sure inventory is present so our customers can service their customers quicker, the end customer. But also the second part, as sudden as the lunch rush starts, it ends. And catching that moment when you go into shoulder and when demand starts to decline, catching that right results in a lot less food waste. Because otherwise, if you just keep firing at all cylinders, then you'll be stuck with too much inventory.
Yep. Okay. I love that. And so is your revenue play, your pricing models, this hardware and subscription? Tell me a little bit more about that, with the sensors.
Yes, we have two versions there. One is the customer pays the hardware, the end customer in our industry, most often franchised. They pay the hardware, and for that, they can use the software commitment free. They only have the initial part for the hardware, and we don't even make money on the hardware. The hardware is a necessity. It's not what drives our business, what drives our revenue. What we want is the subscription. What we want is the subscription for our services. There is the other way, of course, for the customer that prefers OPEX over CAPEX, where we put the CAPEX expense into the OPEX for the first year, and therefore the customer has to sign a 12-month commitment to use the service. But for the very small, and we're talking edge AI here, so very, very small microcomputers on the edge doing the vision AI for us, it's usually between $2,500 and $4,000 for the installation. And as soon as that investment in the hardware has taken place, it's just the software, and there is not even a subscription. We know that the customers will not want to ever go without it again.
So tell me, so you're saying the customer can pay for hardware up front, but then the software is free?
No, if they pay for the hardware, there is no commitment. Yeah, they don't have to sign a contract. They can cancel anytime if they want to, because we know that the software sells, and that the software will be what brings the system to the next franchisee.
I gotcha. So they pay for the hardware, then no commitment on the software, but they pay for the software subscription. Or
absolutely.
You're saying if they don't want to really have that CapEx up front, you can kind of bundle that hardware into that subscription price so it's smoothed out.
Exactly. You were about to throw me out of the SaaS podcast, right? When you heard that software is free.
What? No software. And how long does it take? Is this a quick install? If you go into that hamburger place, how long does that install take for the hardware to get them up and running?
Very good question. I mentioned that we are somewhat different from other startups and emerging tech companies, and we know what we're good at, and we know what others are better at. And therefore, we have an extensive network of partners that do those installations for us. For example, Frankie Food Services. They are a $2 billion business in installing restaurants professionally. They are one of our preferred partners to install the solution, especially here in the US and in Europe. And they integrate their hardware into the customer environment, which is they've built the kitchen in most cases already. They're the perfect partner for this. And therefore, we only have to worry about being a software company and making sure that the software keeps improving every month.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting. So they already know like the tech makeup of these franchises, these stores, so they can really just go in and put it in pretty fast, then it sounds like.
Absolutely, and at scale, meaning something that we could not do with a still somewhat small team. They add the numbers to it, and if the customer wants 100 locations opened up in 1 month, they can do that.
Okay, really interesting. So you said the company was founded 10 years ago. So what was that, 2012?
2012, yes.
Okay, 2012 founded. And where is your company primarily located? Do you have an HQ?
Our headquarters is here in QSR capital of the world in the US, in New York. And but this is our smallest office. Our tech headquarter is in Munich, Germany, somewhat of an IT offshoring play, where we developed the technology very close to the Technical University of Munich, which is just excellent and world-renowned in machine learning and artificial intelligence. And whenever you hear vision AI, there is a lot of vision AI labeling involved, and therefore we have a very strong team in India as well, our own team working on our customers' footage for the entire UI development, front end, back end, and for the labeling. Okay,
great. And then what about your team size? How many employees, staff, contractors do you have?
We've just crossed the 100 FTE mark, so it's 100 engineers. We're very, very lean on the non-functional side. Case in point, I'm wearing 2 hats right now. Our strength comes from the developers, comes from those that are actually building the solution.
Okay, so just crossed the 100 FTE mark, and you're saying most of those are engineers?
Yes, 90% are software developers that build our solution.
Okay, wow. And then give us a sense for scale. Anything you can share around ARR range, revenue ranges, anything you can share there?
The ARR number is for an emerging tech company, not the best metric. I like the fact, and we've been stable at this for quite a while, we are doubling our ARR every 6 months. We're growing. It's very difficult to develop those solutions up front. There is a lot of front-end development that needs to happen. But as said, we're 100 FTE, and we've only ever raised capital beginning of the year for the first time. So we have a strong basis that has been funding this team for the previous 10 years.
Okay, and tell us, so it sounds like you're going after franchises. So tell us about your go-to-market motion. Are these long sales cycles, short sales cycles? Who are you going after here to land these deals?
Important point. We have 2 offerings, and that's at the core of our strategy. The productization. We always start with somewhat bespoke solutions for the largest industries. For the largest in the industry, 4 out of the 6 largest QSRs are utilizing our technology. They are investing in the platform adaptation, into building parts of the solution. But we, as a SaaS business, always retain ownership. And as soon as this is scaling and this is working for the largest in the industry, we are productizing it to make it available for smaller customers in the industry. So somewhat the other way around. Usually you say with small fish, you catch big fish. With innovation projects, it's most valuable to the biggest in the industry. And that's why our projects have always started with the biggest, and at a certain point we're then breaking out modules and making those available to smaller restaurant chains, so that I can say our largest customers have over 30,000 restaurants all over the planet, and our smallest customer has 30 restaurants, but is growing.
Okay. So the largest 30,000 restaurants, the smallest, say 30 restaurants. And did you say you have 4 out of the 6 largest QSRs then?
Or the largest, we're very proud to call our customers. Unfortunately, not all of them are public, but just a month ago, Chipotle announced at the Intel Innovation event that they are utilizing our technology. We were part of the keynote announcement with the CEO of Intel, Pat Gelsinger, and Ria Cheruvu, and they presented the technology that we've built live on stage, utilizing Vision AI for demand sensing, for inventory sensing, and for perfect production planning to create a seamless customer as well as crew experience.
Interesting. Well, next time I go to Chipotle or future Chipotle, I'll look for the sensors. But
definitely.
Yeah, interesting. So you said you go after, create these bespoke solutions for the largest QSRs and then productize that and then sell more standard solutions into, the smaller QSRs. And so is this outbound sales? Is it cold calling? Is it emailing? Well, tell us about that sales process to get these guys.
Very good question. It's all of the above, but cold calling only when we really think this could be so applicable. We find somebody that would just say, we have to reach them. Most of those are warm introductions through our network of partners. The investment in the Series A that we had beginning of the year, where we raised $24 million, was led by Mellitus Ventures, very well connected in the restaurant industry, by Cleveland Avenue, that's the former CEO of McDonald's, and by Enlightened Hospitality Investments, where Danny Meyer, another of the all-time restaurant greats, the founder of Shake Shack, is a partner. So we have a very strong network for restaurants that are embracing innovation and are seeking for modern solutions to the very modern and very real problems that this industry is facing right now.
And say I'm a smaller operator, say I've got 20 stores. I mean, what is it going to cost me? Can you just like the pricing? Am I going to pay $1,000 a year per store, 10,000? Like what's any sort of average selling price?
Pricing starts at $79 a month, and then we can layer on additional features. Our technology resides in the restaurant, so there is no, the cloud part is only for reporting and for updates. So all of it is offline first, meaning should there ever be an internet outage, it still works like it did before. The second it's connected again, it updates the reporting and it gets maybe some new features or some better models.
Okay,
so entry-level pricing to make sure that this is true to our vision, helping food entrepreneurs grow their business of all sizes.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And so you raised some capital this year. You've been in business for 10 years, so just raised a $24 million Series A. And what were the triggers or milestones that you saw in the business, right? You were operating for 10 years and then raise some money. So what was that trigger? What did you see that you said it was time to raise some outside capital?
Exactly this productization. We have been able to show that the largest in the industry and have this piece of software that ingrains so much of their operational know-how, so much of what the largest and best run businesses in the world have spent decades developing for themselves. And the software takes a part of that and makes sure that even if employees leave, employee churn, very real in this industry, that the know-how stays within the software. And therefore, there is a lot of know-how that can transcend beyond the original brand and that other smaller companies can profit from. And being able to show the investors that that's the next step, going from we built this for the one brand you know and go to every day, but this piece, if we now add the sales team to it, can profit so many others. Total addressable market, just tremendous for these solutions. That is what led us to say, this is the next stage of the company. This is where we want to be. And we found the perfect partners, the dream team of partners to help us with this.
Okay, perfect. And any, raising $24 million, large sum, any lessons, tips, and tricks for other people listening on that journey to raising 24 million? Any pain points or things that you look back where I wish I could have done that better, or I wish I'd known this prior to the raise?
I've never raised capital before, not in any form, not a single dollar. And it was a super exciting journey for me personally, as well for the company. We've learned a lot. I would say some lessons is first, TAM over ARR. Focus more on how large your business can become than to what you've achieved already. It's like you're drilling for oil. It really only matters how large the bubble is that you're drilling into. It doesn't matter how many drops of oil you found along the way. So you need to find partners that embrace that vision, that buy into that vision, and that want to assist you on that way. And the best problems to ask an investor are to solve are problems to solve with money. So that's lesson number 2. If you can formulate your problem into with money, we can do this, and you ask somebody that says, I have money, then there's a match made in heaven waiting. Another one for really talking to VCs, each VC has a bracket. It does make a lot of sense to find that out very early. If your VC that you're talking to right now can only write $10 million checks, don't think you can convince them to do a $500,000 check just for you. They've made commitments to their LPs. So being upfront about what you're looking for, being honest, and then having the conversation might result in you not getting that invest, or might not result getting in that next call. But, and that is true for us, all of our 4 major investors came out of that first investor and recommendations, warm introductions. I know somebody that would be interested in this. That led to us being able to assemble the dream team. And therefore, I would recommend to each founder out there, to everyone raising capital, treat every of those meetings as an opportunity to either get an invest or to get the best recommendation to somebody whose bracket you might be fitting better. And with that, assemble your dream team. Don't stop. We could have stopped way earlier, raising half as much. We kept on going because we knew that we could make the round perfect and complete.
Love it. Appreciate those tips, Hauke. And so as we wrap up here, what's next for PreciTaste? What's exciting? What's coming up on the horizon?
I love that we're now at the point where our previous productized solutions were digital solutions without vision. And those are great. Those are established. They help how much to prep in the morning. They tell you how much to have inventory-wise at each point of time. So there's a screen telling through, now you should have X amount of inventory, where they can then check for themselves, oh, I'm overshooting right now, I should pause production, or I really need to drop some fries, drop some nuggets, I need to have more right now because the system is telling me that the lunch rush will happen very, very soon. And now we're adding vision-based systems. The productized solutions for us are always not customized, no development needed to adapt them, only configuration. So we have configurable vision AI solutions for the masses, for restaurant chains of all sizes. And that I'm really bullish about, really, really excited about.
That's great. So pretty exciting stuff coming up. And Hauke, really appreciate you sharing your background, what PreciTaste is doing, amazing journey so far in 10 years. So if the listeners would like to learn more about what you're doing, where can they find you online?
PreciTaste.com, that's P-R-E-C-I, taste, as in taste, PreciTaste, or just follow us on LinkedIn.
Okay.
We're very selective about our our online appearances, but it will be for the foreseeable future a B2B play, and that's why we don't have any other social media.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to learn more, check out PreciTaste PreciTaste.com to learn more. And Hauke, really appreciate your time today and sharing your story.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks a lot.